Iwaksi ang pagiging makasarili, pagmamahal sa bayan dapat manatili. Wala ka magagawa ka mo, wala talaga kapag sarili lang ang iniisip mo. Pero pag tayo...
Alright, yan. Magandang araw mga kabatas natin at welcome sa isang mga live stream. Mga kabatas natin, pag-uusapan natin bago tayo pumunta doon sa petition, okay? Bago tayo pumunta dito, pag-usapan natin yung Francisco versus House of Representatives because it is very, very interesting. Okay? This is also, mga kabatas natin, an abstract. Tuloy ng abstract doon sa sinabi natin noong una. Doon sa mga hindi pa nakapanood kanina, it's very interesting. Puntahan nyo ho yun. Ngayon mga kabatas natin, pupuntahan natin yung Francisco. At ipapaliwanag ko sa inyo kung ano yung desisyon ng Supreme Court doon kasi yun laging binabanggit ng mga tao ngayon.
Aangat kang sigurado, dapat Pilipinas bago ang kahit sino. Wala na yatang taong makabayan, sa kampanya na lang sila napapakinggan. Sa dulo, sa liliang...
Okay, let's do this mga kabatas natin. Ito yung kaso mga kabatas natin na patok ngayon. GR number 160261. Ito rin yung binabanggit nila, no, na kaso dito. Binabanggit nila na kaso ni Francisco. Okay? Ito.
It was actually the request of the congressman to look further into the complaints.
Okay. It was the request of the Congress to look further into the complaints. Okay? Sige. Pasubo mo pa sila.
Before it be moved to the Committee on Justice.
Okay. Yun yung pinaglalaban nila, no? Bakit mga kabatas natin, no? Bakit? Kasi nga, ito yung sinasabi nila. Ito yung pinaglalaban nila. Kasi ang usapan dito, initiation, di ba? Okay. Nag-rule na nga yung Supreme Court dyan. At malinaw yung ruling ng Supreme Court dyan, mga kabatas natin. Ito yon. Validity of the second impeachment complaint. Lalakihan natin para makita nyo. Yan. Sabi dito, mga kabatas natin, no? Yan. Having concluded that the initiation takes place by the act of filing of the impeachment complaint, so pumasok yung 1. Okay? Pumasok yung 1. By the act of filing of the impeachment complaint and referral to the House Committee on Justice. So mga kabatas natin, ang pag-aawayan ulit dyan, ginamit yung word na end. Okay? Ginamit yung word na end. So, ibig sabihin, pag end yan, mga kabatas natin, dapat parehong mangyari. Pero mga kabatas natin, magugulat na naman kayo dun sa findings ko. Ay, well, of course, it's a legal opinion. Pero I think, mga kabatas natin, it will stick. I'm basing it on justice. Okay? So, yun ang gusto nila mangyari. Okay? Sinasabi nila na hindi pa nagkaroon ng initiation ng impeachment complaint because there was, okay, no referral to the House Committee on Justice yet. Okay? So, yun ang sinasabi kasi sa Section 3.5 of Article 11 na nag-i-start ng bar. Once an impeachment complaint has been initiated in the foregoing manner, another may not be filed the same official against the same official within a 1-year period following Article 11, Section 3, 5 of the Constitution. Okay? In fine, sabi niya, considering that the first impeachment complaint was filed by former President Sara against Chief Justice Hilario G. Davide, along with 7 associate justices of this court on June 2, 2003, and referred to the House Committee on Justice on August 5, 2003, the second impeachment complaint filed by the Representatives Gilberto C. Teodoro and Felix William Fontabella against the Chief Justice on October 23, 2003 violates the constitutional prohibition against the initiation of impeachment proceedings against the same impeachable officer within a 1-year period. Okay, mga kabatas natin. Hindi ko pa nabasa, no? I'll tell you frankly, hindi ko pa naman nabasa. Sabay-sabay tayong basahin yung petition ni VP Sara Duterte. Pero ito muna yung gusto kong ipalinaw sa inyo bago tayo pumunta doon. Okay, malinaw, di ba? And so dapat may magfa-file ng impeachment complaint, okay? Tapos i-refer sa House Committee on Justice. Doon na masasabing may na-initiate na impeachment complaint. Ngayon mga kabatas natin, ang malaking issue ko dito. And this is an oo nga moment mga kabatas natin, ano ho. If an impeachment complaint was dismissed, in whatever manner, diba? Eh di syempre, mga kabatas natin, may bar na rin. Diba? Kasi nga, mga kabatas natin, pwedeng ma-dismiss ang isang impeachment complaint if it is not sufficient in form and substance, diba? Pero sino ba ang titingin doon? Sino ba ang titingin doon? Congress. Tinignan na ba nila? Sandali. Share ko ulit ito.
Supreme Court to decide is whether this is permitted.
For us, there was no violation. It was actually the request of the congressman to look further into the complaints before it be moved to the Committee on Justice.
So, tinignan na nila. Lag ba? Sabi ni Rafi Feliciano, attorney, ang argument yata dyan maliciously hindi na-refer sa Committee on Justice with prescribed timeline based on House rules. Yung mga naunang verified complaint. Well, actually, may mas mabuti akong argument dyan. Kasi nga, in-archive, di ba? In-archive yung mga naunang impeachment complaints. Ngayon, yung archival of the impeachment complaints, isn't it tantamount to abandoning them, or in other words, dismissing them? Mga kabatas natin, nung nagkaroon ng basahan doon sa House, di ba? Nagkaroon ng motion. Okay? Nagkaroon ng motion na i-archive yung 3 impeachment complaints. Nakalagay dito sa batas, mga kabatas natin, na kapag na-dismiss, okay, na-dismiss ang isang impeachment complaint, it will start the ban also. Di ba? Oh. Ngayon mga kabatas natin, them not acting on it or acting on it and archiving it, hindi ba na-dismiss din yun? Ibig sabihin, tinignan naman nila eh. Di ba? Tinignan naman nila eh. So, can we conclude na yung pinag-aralan nila yon base dito sa prosecutor na to?
It was actually the request of the congressman to look further into the complaints before it be moved to the Committee on Justice.
Pwede siyang i-dismiss, mga kabatas natin, tulad na sinabi ko, if it is insufficient in form and substance. They looked at it. But mga kabatas natin, they did not basura it. They did not dismiss it. They archived it. Ngayon mga kabatas natin, based on the procedure, can we actually argue that the archival of those is tantamount to dismissal? They looked at it. Para nangyayari dito mga kabatas natin, it was actually transmitted because they were able to look at it. But because they think it's not strong enough, because maybe they find it incomplete, because maybe they find it lacking in form and substance, sabi nila, ay hindi. Sabihin nyo, wag mo nang na-transmit ha. Gagawa tayo ng fourth na impeachment complaint. Kasi nga, mahina tong mga to. So, gawa tayo ng fourth impeachment complaint, i-archive natin yan. Diba? Sabi ni the dead father, I'm going here also. Or, active pa rin since archived lang. Ngayon, kapag active pa rin at na-archive yan, diba? Alin ang madidismiss? Yung nauna? O yung huli? Because mga kabatas natin, the law is clear that it should be immediately acted upon. Di ba? Oh, kung active, edi multiple na nga yung fourth complaint. Right? They looked into it. Oh. Pasubo. Oh, pero bankrupt pa rin yung PhilHealth na kabatas natin. May double jeopardy din ba sa impeachment complaint if found the VP is not guilty now or they can file the same cases again and again? They cannot. Okay, kapag na-dismiss yan, they cannot file the same case. Kasi nga, syempre, res judicata. It was already been ruled upon. Okay? Tapos na yon. Kung may ibang grounds, pwede. Pero if based on the same grounds, hindi na pwede. Okay? Kapag natapos na yon. If actually, there was a finding that she is not guilty or it was dismissed based on the merits of the case, then hindi na pwede yan. Okay? So yun, we have to, tignan natin kung pinasok nila yon ha. Kung pinasok nila yon dito na archived yung mga yon. So active pa rin yung mga yon, bakit hindi yung ma-dismiss? Kasi end nga na na-initiate. Pero pag titignan nyo dito, pinag-aralan na nila. Uulitin ko kasi it's very interesting na sinabi niya ito, no?
Permitted.
For us, there was no violation. It was actually the request of the congressman to look further into the complaints.
So it was transmitted. because the congressmen were able to look further into the complaints. And that is the time dapat natitignan nila if it is sufficient for inform and substance. Kasi pag titignan nyo dito, mga kabatas natin, no? The House Committee on Justice, di ba? Ito yung House Committee on Justice. Dito itra-transmit eh. Ruled on October 13, 2003 that the first impeachment complaints was sufficient in form but voted to dismiss the same on October 22, 2003 for being insufficient in substance. So, di ba that is the time that they will actually look into the complaint to see if it is sufficient in form and substance once it was already transmitted. So mga kabatas natin, we can conclude that there was actually a transmittal, although they are saying that there was no transmittal. Tama ba ako? Tama ako. They did the transmittal, but everyone's denying it. Look! There was a transmittal!
Permitted.
For us, there was no violation. It was actually the request of the congressman to look further into the complaints.
They looked further into the complaints. Oops, what happened? Wait. When do you do that? Kailan mo gagawin yon? When will you look further into the complaints? Once it was transmitted. Kapag na-transmit na yon, di ba? They will look further into the complaints to see if it is sufficient form and in substance, and they can dismiss it. So it was actually transmitted because they looked into it. They had the copy. It was transmitted to them. They looked into it and they found it insufficient in form and substance. Malamang. That's why sabi nila, wait, sabihin nyo hindi pa transmitted ah. Ganon ba? Ganon ba yun? Eh paano ka nakakuha ng kopya pag hindi pa transmitted? Sige nga. Argue! Yung mga tao dyan, let's argue. Kala nila makapaglaro sila sa semantics na transmittal kaya nga, di ba? So how were they able to tell us again, madam?
Is permitted.
For us, there was no violation. It was actually the request of the congressman to look further into the complaints before it be moved to the Committee on Justice.
Let's talk about the procedure. Saan ba mapupunta yon? Sa Committee on Justice, di ba? And they are the ones who will decide if it is complete in form and substance. Kaya nga, yung tatlong complaint in-archive di umano, pero they already looked into it. Meaning, mga kabatas natin, there was an internal arrangement. It was reviewed by the congressmen and they found it weak. Sila rin nagsabi na gumawa sila ng mas malakas na complaint because those are dismissible. They looked into it and they were dismissible. Well, this is mga kabatas natin, an educated guess, ha? That's why they filed the 4th impeachment complaint. And in doing so, mga kabatas natin, they looked into it. Ibig sabihin, it was transmitted to them. How will they get it? There's no other way that they can get those if it was not transmitted to them. Gawa tayo ng analogy raffle ng case sa judge, pero yung judge na basa, wag na. Wag na. Di ba? Tapos sasabi mo, hindi pa na-transmit yan. Let's go to the petition na. Tingnan natin yung mga argumento nila dito. Okay. As usual, mga kabatas natin, like any ordinary petition, meron tayong title. Okay, yan. Supreme Court of the Philippines, Manila. Petition for certiorari and prohibition. Tapos, application for temporary restraining order. Okay, of course, mga kabatas natin, itong certiorari na ito ay grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction. Jurisdiction at prohibition, mga kabatas natin, pipigilan mo ang isang tao. Tapos ang temporary restraining order naman, mga kabatas natin, ang TRO ay also pagpigil. Ang TRO, mga kabatas natin, may mga length of time. Pag RTC, 30 days lang yan. Okay? In contrast to the Supreme Court, pag Supreme Court ang nag-issue ng temporary restraining order, mga kabatas natin, until lifted. Okay? So, nagkakaroon ng prayer for a writ of preliminary injunction kasi ang writ of preliminary injunction na yan, mga kabatas natin, sa lower courts, that is most likely permanent until lifted. Okay? Pero sa Supreme Court, pwede kahit TRO lang. Walang writ of preliminary injunction. Pero naninigurado sila dito. 'Di ba? Kaya nga nakalagay dyan and or. Naninigurado sila. Pero pag TRO lang dyan, sapat na. Pag binigyan ka ng TRO ng Supreme Court, hindi yan matatanggal hanggang ilip nila. Okay? Nature and purpose. This is a petition under Rule 65 of the Rules of Court, which seeks to issue a writ of certiorari to nullify the 4th impeachment complaint filed by 215 members of the House of Representatives on February 5, 2025 for violating Section 3.5, Article 11 of the Constitution, which says no impeachment proceedings shall be initiated against the same official more than once within a period of 1 year. 1 year bar. Okay? Tapos, ito, as a consequence, okay, issue a writ of prohibition to enjoin the Senate of the Philippines from acting on the 4th impeachment complaint due to violation of the 1-year bar under the aforesaid constitutional provision. Binasa ko rin doon sa kaso, mga bats natin, ng Francisco, okay, na in-issue rin dito yung judicial power. Yung power to review ng judiciary. Sinabi nila, this is a political matter. This is a political procedure that is solely, okay, under the power of the Congress. Sabi ng Supreme Court doon, nope, sabi niya. Ito ay justiciable matter pa rin. Kasi nga, we are talking about the law, which is the supreme law of the land, yung Constitution. Okay? Tingnan nyo. This petition will show that the House of Representatives and its members deliberately circumvented the one-year bar by directing its Secretary General to allegedly give them more time to file the fourth impeachment complaint, despite the fact that 3 prior separate impeachment complaints had already been filed on December 2, 4, and 19 respectively. Maganda rin i-argue nila dito yung sinabi ko na it was already acted upon. Kasi nga, ulitin ko ba yung sinabi ni Representative Zamora? Hindi na. Hindi ko na siya ipa-play. Ako na lang magsasabi. Pinag-aralan na daw nila yun. Sabi niya, the reason for awaiting the fourth impeachment complaint is not a secret it's not a secret. To allow the House of Representatives and its members to gather the required number of signatures to railroad the impeachment process in order to beat the May 12, 2025 elections, which they know results in a change in the composition of Congress, thus making it more difficult to get support for the petitioner's impeachment. Hi. Yan yung sinasabi nila. Well, it's almost the same doon, pero ito kasi mga kabatas natin, this is highly speculative eh. Itong number 3. This is highly speculative. Na ito, ano sinasabi nila na hindi pa sila nakakuha ng required number of signatures. Mas maganda yung sinabi nung isa. Yung nagpa-interview na pinag-aralan na nila yon. Tapos, ang ginawa nila, they did not act on it and they did not forward it when in fact it was already forwarded because they already studied it. And actually, they archived it. And the archival, we can say that the archival is tantamount to dismissal of the complaints. Boom, panis. Unfortunately, this political stratagem was done at the expense of constitutional standards that respondents as public officers are mandated to observe, with the ultimate goal of having the petitioner perpetually disqualified from running for any national elective office in the future. So pag titignan nyo dito sa complaint nila mga kabats natin, it was actually directed on the parang harassment na ginagawa kay VP Sara, di ba? Samantalang yung arguments ko, mga kabatas natin, it was actually directed on the process that took place. Di ba? And it was based on the statements of the congressman actually. Di ba? Under the House of Representatives Rules of Procedure in Impeachment Proceedings adopted on May 30, 2023 and published on June 2, 2023, House Rules on Impeachment Proceedings can be initiated in 3 ways. A verified complaint for impeachment filed by any member of the House of Representatives, a verified complaint filed by any citizen upon a resolution of endorsement by any member of the House of Representatives, a verified complaint or resolution of impeachment filed by at least 1/3 of all the members of the House. So, anong nangyari dito mga kabatas natin? No? Yung una, dito, di ba? Dito yon. Kasi di ba merong nag-file na mga mayroong nag-file na members of the House of Representatives, yung mga unang tatlo ha. Tapos, merong nag-file na citizens, yung mga pare. Di ba? Yung mga pare. Tapos, ang pumasok yung pangatlo, a verified complaint or resolution of impeachment filed by at least 1/3 of all members of the House. So, what happened to this? Dismissed, right? Aray ko. Sinasabi na naman akong Duterte dyan. You cannot archive a document that is not acted upon, di po ba, attorney? Well, yun ang action nila yung archival eh. Actually, ginagawa naman yan. Like for example, doon sa mga kaso, no, ng nasa korte, kapag nag-aareglo yung mga tao, yung parehong, yung mga parties, no, yung mga naglalaban-laban, nag-aareglo sila, the judge may actually... Hi, Mom! the judge may actually ask for, the parties may request for the archival. Ngayon, mga kabatas natin, pag pumayag yung judge, i-archive yan hanggang magkaroon ng activity. Like for example, hindi sila mag-areglo, o kaya mag-areglo sila, bubuhayin yung kaso, tapos ipapadismiss o kaya itutuloy yung kaso. Okay? Pero dito mga kabatas natin, archival is highly inappropriate. Why? Because mga kabatas natin, this is an impeachment proceeding.
Where's your phone?
It's downstairs. It's charging.
Okay.
This is an impeachment proceeding.
Okay.
Paano mo i-archive ang isang impeachment proceeding? That is also, mga kabatas natin, one of the instances wherein you can bar other impeachment proceedings from being initiated. Bakit? There is an active impeachment sa isang tao. So ito ang gagawin ko mga kabatas natin dahil isa akong magaling na abogado. Dahil isa akong magaling na abogado. Ito ang gagawin ko. Sasabihin ko, Congressman Romualdez, ako, isa akong kurakot na presidente. O kaya isa akong kurakot na vice president. O isa akong kurakot na COMELEC chairman. Para hindi ako makasuhan, please, paki-archive yung aking impeachment complaint na nandiyan. Pag natanggap nyo, i-archive nyo. Sige, gagawin natin yan. So, i-archive mo yan. So, habang naka-archive yan, first year, ay, meron pa rin pending na impeachment complaint itong si Atty. Libayan. Hindi nyo pwedeng ipa-impeach yan. Second year, naka-archive pa rin. Ay, meron pa rin pending impeachment complaint si Atty. Libayan. Hindi nyo pa rin pwedeng impeach yan. Third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year, tapos na yung term ko. Tanggalin nyo na sa archival. I-transmit nyo na. Yung interview ni Rap Zamora was made after the petition was filed, attorney, kaya di pa nasama dyan sa petition. Magandang isama nila yan. Pasubo yun. Di ba yun ang gagawin ko? Wait, may pending pa ako impeachment. Pina-archive ko lang. Di ba? So hindi pwede. There is a pending impeachment trial sa akin. Na-transmit na yun. Na-archive ni Congressman Romualdez Ano? Ano mangyayari pag gano'n? Pending yan forever. Kasi archived lang Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo, that is tantamount to dismissal. You cannot archive that. Diba? Gandang diskarte yan. You can BBM man na diet. Wait, impeachment, diba? Ganun ang gawin natin. Okay. This is my, sandali nga, ayan. This is my payo kay Pangulong BBM kapag may magpapa-impeach sa'yo, mag-initiate na ng impeachment. Okay? Malakas man o mahina, i-transmit agad sa Committee on Justice. Pagdating sa Committee on Justice, i-archive yan. I-archive yan ng 6 na taon. Hindi, 3 years na lang. I-archive yan ng 3 years. Safe ka na. Wala nang pwedeng mag-initiate ng impeachment proceeding sa'yo. Kasi nga, it was already filed and transmitted. Initiated na siya. Ipa-archive mo lang. Ganun mag-isip? Ang malala, in-archive lang, di binasa. Hindi. Yung in-archive na 3, binasa yon. Ulitin pa ba natin itong sinabi niya? Pinag-aralan nila yan.
Permitted.
For us, there was no violation. It was actually the request of the congressman to look further into the complaints before it be moved to the Committee on Justice.
It was looked further. It was transmitted. Pero sabi nga ni Kayo, dinadaan nila sa semantics. Kasi di ba yung transmittal kasi, yun naman yung magpapadala doon para pag-aralan mo. Hindi pwedeng advance copy. Sabi niyo ba advance copy lang? Nandun ba sa batas natin na mabigyan kayo dapat ng advance copy? No. Nope. Diba? Ay. Sabi ni the Godfather, isa lang ang pwedeng tamang sagot. Archive active. Archive dismissed. Both actions will constitute acted upon. Therefore, 1-year bar will take effect. Along that line, di ba? Ay, lako. Let's go back. Let's go back here. Transmittal as usage na yung ginawa nila eh. There is no difference between the informal and formal in practice. Yes. Actually, there was already transmittal. Pero ayaw nilang aminin. Sabihin mo, wala pa. Kasi paano nila makikita yon kung hindi transmit sa kanila? It's very obvious. How can they study it? Ito, tatanungin ko sa inyo. Pag final ba yung impeachment complaint, pwede ba, ang nakalagay ba sa batas natin, i-transmit ba ito sa ibang tao other than the Committee on Justice? Wala, di ba? So, Committee on Justice. Ayaw lang aminin. Tapos ba't kayo nag-statement ng ganyan? Balikan natin to. The first two modes involve a procedure that takes time before the impeachment complaint can be referred to the Senate for trial. Tama, ito. A and B, it takes time. While the third mode, which is how the fourth impeachment complaint was made possible by the respondents, could be endorsed to the Senate in as quick as in a day, since the same shall constitute the articles of impeachment, which shall be endorsed to the Senate pursuant to Section 14, Rule 4 of the House Rules on Impeachment, which provides, Section 14, endorsement of the complaint resolution to the Senate. A verified complaint resolution of impeachment filed by at least 1/3 of all the members of the House shall constitute the articles of impeachment. And in this case, the verified complaint or resolution shall be endorsed to the Senate in the same manner as the approved bill of the House. Okay. Pag ako kasi mga kabatas natin, no? If I will do this is a national concern, okay? So, tulad ng sinabi ko, pinag-aaralan lang naman natin ito. Hindi naman tayo naniniwala kung sino dito ang tama at totoo. Di ba? I'm just treating everything here as something hypothetical. Okay? Kasi nga, sinabi nga ng Supreme Court naman, this is a national concern. So if it's a national concern, sinabi rin ng mga representatives ng House na pag-aralan natin. So pag-aralan natin. Di ba? Pag ako dito, I will make my arguments more on the initiation. Pero tignan natin yung arguments nila doon mamaya. Okay? Ay, naku, lampas na pala. Lipat na tayo, mga kabatas natin. Sabi ni Kayo, basta ang conclusion ko dyan, masusubukan ng Supreme Court dyan. Well, lagi naman nila sinusubok ng Supreme Court. So, let's see. Okay? Attorney, pwede mo ba kaming bigyan ng konting background about Fortune Salazar? Well, Fortune Salazar, ito yung law firm nung nakakatandang Fortune, which they say is the better Fortune daw. Sabi nila, hindi sa akin galing yan. Tapos, makailang beses ko na rin sila nakalaban. Lipat tayo sa kabila, mga kabatas natin. Siyempre, tulad ng laging sinasabi, matutulog po tayo na mahimbing dahil alam natin na yung natutulog na mahimbing, siya yung laging panalo. Paalam po. Pansamantala. Sasagutin na kaya ako ng misis ko nito. Misis mo na, sinagot ka na. Gumaling na ako sa impeachment, di ba? Well, I'm just, playing with your minds. Paalam po, pansamantala.